What is up, my guys? Benoit here. Welcome to Tactical Fellowship. The purpose of today's video is to show you a very cool Ruger 1022 build. Did you feel it? The Chernobyl just radiating off of this build. Well, I can't wait to show you what I did, so let's dive into it. Before we get to that though, how about you go ahead and stick your thumb up YouTube's anti-gun loving hole by liking and subscribing. I'm not sure, but I think we're gonna hit 10K before the end of the year, and if we do, it's because of you. And I appreciate that support. Speaking of support, I gotta give a ginormous shout out to Brownells, the biggest supporter of the channel. And you gotta go check out the kit page before this video ends. It's where I do all the work for you and where everything on this build lives. Especially the stuff that I don't get to in this video. If you see it on here but I don't mention it, head to the kit page for all those details. To taco bet, you don't even know what video game I'm talking about, do you?
Time to move on and be hero.
All right, let's kick this thing off with total transparency. Midwest Industries sends me this chassis and this QD mount for testing, which of course will not change in any way, shape, or form what I have to say about them, good or bad, as per our norm. All right, so with that out of the way, let's dive into this build with what amounts to the heart of it, which is a Midwest Industries 13-inch fixed barrel Ruger 1022 chassis, of which your user supplied Ruger 1022 receiver, barrel, and trigger group will just drop right into. It's made out of solid aluminum. It's got a double screw duckbill interface, and I noticed zero shift between these two parts. Sling options abound on fore and aft. M-lock forend, impeccable machining throughout. This might actually end up being a cheaper build because of the back end buffer tube castle nut stock attachment. This is stuff that you might have laying around instead of buying a pretty expensive skeletonized folder Picatinny buttstock. When I think about this chassis, I think that this is a good little battle chassis. This isn't lightweight, but I tell you what, the barrel that you put into this is really going to alter the overall weight factor. As I have it right now with a carbon fiber bull barrel, this thing is balanced really nicely. I think this chassis also favors stick mags because you don't have any cutout here in the receiver to help you grip and strip those flush 10 rounders. I would say you're going to want to stick with stick mags on a build like this, and actually that's a win because they look pretty great in the gun. It also has a wonderfully comfortable indexing spot right up here, just past the magazine well on the foregrip here. It's contoured super nicely and ends up being a great spot for your hand to be. So nice, in fact, that I decided to not put any sort of vertical grip or vertical stop on this further out because this just felt so nice time and time again. With this foregrip too, you could totally C-clamp this thing if you wanted to because it wraps around the barrel, which is kind of unique for a 22 build like this. This also has your standard AR pistol grip interface, but beaver tail grips are going to be a no-go on this because the beaver tail ends up running into the chassis itself, and so you won't be able to use those on this. I mean, you could chop them. You got basically two options. You could chop off the beaver tail, in which then you can then fit that, or you're looking for like an a legacy A1 style grip, or a Hogue, or a Rifles refined grip, such as I have currently on the gun. The only issue I had with this chassis isn't going to affect 98.3% of you guys out there, but if you have a legacy Ruger that is 30 plus years old, you're probably going to want to hold on to your receipt when you buy this chassis. There were a few years where Ruger's tolerances were a tad off, and that will affect the fitment inside of this bad boy. I chatted with Midwest about it. I needed to take some off of the pistol grip trigger gap here and the inner channel liner in order to shift the receiver like 1 millimeter further backwards in order to line up the screw hole with the receiver right here. So I decided just to make that small adjustment rather than a new Ruger 1022, but I did really pause because I was like, maybe I should just new Ruger 1022. Also of note, fitment note, my Volquartsen TG2000 trigger did not fit into this chassis, even with the adjustments I made to it. So if you're keeping it Ruger, modern Ruger, it is going to work absolutely perfect for you. It's just that I had ancient stuff. All right, moving on, let's talk about the barrel, because you do not need to put a barrel this nice into a build like this where it is hidden behind this very finely chiseled foregrip. All that being said, the barrel I have in here, the best, most attractive barrel on the market, and it has been for years, is this Volquartsen 16-inch carbon fiber lightweight threaded bull barrel. This is stainless steel construction, match grade accuracy, with a carbon fiber woven tube for rapid fire coolage and maximized barrel harmonics. It comes threaded on the front, 1.5 by 28, with a thread protector. The golden age of 22 barrels is now, and it is right here. Moving on to the sights, because that is something you're going to need to address on a build like this, and I absolutely love what I selected for the sight solution on this. The sight solution is a Midwest Industries QD RMR mount in the low configuration with a Trijicon Type 2 3.25 RMR sitting on it. This is just an awesome QD mechanism. It's mechanically smart. It won't release on you accidentally. I really like that it gets my RMR right into my line of sight with just my cheek resting firmly on the cheek rest here on the buttstock. So if you're wondering what kind of height to get for a build like this, you can go ahead and get the low and it'll line up just fine. Also, since it is the RMR footprint, it'll also accept the cheaper Holosun 507 CX2 red dot on here, yet again saving you a couple more bucks on this build. The mount features a nice little diving board that's able to push the sight further forward than you'd otherwise be able to with a typical base mount, and further out is better than closer up in my humble opinion. I don't need this like right up in my face. I like having a little bit forward so I can see it and just see what I need to see. It just really works well and looks great while you're doing it. The QD is slightly in the way of the charging handle the way it is, but it's really not enough for me to want to ding the mount and say I wish they had put the QD release on the other side. It works fine for what I'm doing, and I don't want to ding it on it. It didn't impact my shooting ability at all. Yeah, I really like this mount. We are almost at the end of this walkthrough, and the last thing I really want to mention is this insanely attractive walnut grip by Rifles Refined. Guys, I have no affiliate with this company. I make zero cash on promoting them. This piece is just so great that I want you to know about it, and I want you to check them out. It has the typical AR attachment method. It's got no beaver tail, so it fits on a build like this perfectly. It's got a thumb rest, it has ergonomic finger grooves, an aggressive vertical angle. It's kind of a showstopper, and it was worth the wait it took for me to get it. And that brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to the end of this wonderfully nostalgic STALKER build. I hope this has been helpful, interesting, inspiring perhaps with what you could do next with your Ruger 1022. You can this stuff anywhere, but guys, if you use my affiliate pages, you absolutely help keep my doors open. And I really, truly do appreciate the handful of guys that are going out of their way to make that happen. That's how builds like this get done. So like, comment, share, all the stuff. And as always, ride fast, shoot straight, get off the couch and into some tactical fellowship. And we'll see you next time.